You're listening to the 15th Bitachon podcast, and before I get back into the Sefer, I would like to make a plug for the Bitachon groups that meet. We have one group right now that's meeting. We had a second group that was meeting for a while. Want to get that back on track. We cannot learn Bitachon the same way listening to a shir as when we work on it as a group. The Alter of Navardik speaks at length about the power of a group. The Chabura Hagvoya, he calls it. When you have a group of people, even though we all live in different situations socially, good people around us, Baruch Hashem, good Jewish communities, but there's a difference between living amongst people who are living the ideals of Bitachon, of trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of believing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us at every step, seeking out His help, seeking out His guidance, as opposed to just living amongst people who are not even thinking about it. And so, it's so essential and important to involve ourselves with a group that's focused on speaking about, working on Bitachon. Right now, the women's group meets on Tuesday evenings, and there's between at least 3, if not 4, 5, 6 consistent people who are coming. So I encourage you to reach out either to my email, Goldwag@gmail.com, or the Bitachon group at gmail.com. Bitachon Together, I believe, is also one of the emails of the Bitachon group at gmail.com. But there's just ain't a diamond. You can't compare working on it by ourselves as working on it as a group. So I want to encourage everybody to get it together with the men's group. So we had it going for a while. We had at least 2 people coming consistently. It dwindled down. We had sometimes 3, 4, 5. But I encourage you to reach out to me, Goldwag@gmail.com, to get involved in the Bitachon group. And let's get it back up and running so that we can work on this together. Listening to a shir is good. It's significant. It's important. It's essential. Helps us think about it. Helps us be aware of it. Working on it together as a group is a completely different place, different space. I felt it when we had that group going, and I would like it to start up again. Now, I'd like to get back in here. We had taken a little bit of a break from the actual chapter of Bitachon, and we had spoken about the concept of Menucha, serenity, etc. So now I want to get back in here. He's talking about Yosef HaTzadik. He talked about the Chacham and the Talmud, the person who thinks he's already wise, the way that he does things, everything is already, what I do is already good. All right, that's the Chacham. But the Talmud Chacham knows that the ways that he's going may or may not be correct, and sometimes he'll make a mistake and he'll learn from his mistakes, right? So he's talking about the fact that Yosef HaTzadik, he said it twice. He said, "Remember me, don't forget me." So the first time it was a mistake. The second time already he reinforced the mistake and it became a way of going. And for that reason, Yosef HaTzadik lost his level of bitachon, lost his connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and ended up in jail for another 2 years. And we see it as a punishment, but the truth is that it's kind of a natural repercussion, a natural consequence of the fact that his bitachon was lacking in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The only way that he would be able to get out of there would be with full faith in Hashem, full bitachon, that very deep and high level. So he continues. Let's go back to the beginning of this paragraph. We can understand the big difference between saying it 1 time versus 2 times. The first time you said it, so it was a mistake. He really had a very high level of bitachon. Right? When it came to going to find his brothers, he knew that they were ready to kill him. When he approached this man who knew where his brothers were, and he asked him, where are they? And he said, they've gone to Saina. So Rashi tells us that he made Yosef aware of the fact that they were looking to kill him. Nevertheless, he went to them. But he was very strong in his trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, his trust in God, that nobody can cause him damage. Nothing can happen against God's will. Everything is in the control of Hashem, the Creator. Therefore, he wasn't afraid at all, and he went to them. When it came to any challenge of fulfilling the Torah, he didn't trust in himself. He did whatever the Torah said, very clearly, very specifically. Like he did when the wife of Potiphar tried to get him to sin with her. She grabbed his clothing. Immediately he ran outside. But like he didn't trust himself that he could stay inside and he wouldn't give in to her temptations. He did a powerful act to run out of that place. She had taken off his clothes, so it was an embarrassing moment for him, obviously. But he did it anyway because he felt that was the only way to get away from her. He showed that he was interested in action when it came to what the Torah wants. So therefore, after he was there, he resided in the jail for 10 years. So, when the opportunity arose, he should not have lost the opportunity. Right? He had an opportunity. The opportunity here wasn't an opportunity to ask the guy to get him out. The opportunity here was to completely trust that Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to do it for him. And when Hashem wants, so he's not going to miss out the chance. He should have run away from this effort. He shouldn't have put in any efforts here. Okay, it's very interesting because the Alter is explaining this according to his shita, according to his understanding, that when a person puts in hishtadlus, when a person puts in efforts in order to get a spiritual attainment or a physical attainment, whatever it is, so it takes away from his belief in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It takes away from his faith that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do it for him. As we mentioned, and as the Alter brings down, even in the shita of the Chavis Halavavos, even according to the opinion of the Chavis Halavavos, who holds that we are supposed to do hishtadlus, supposed to put in efforts, we're not supposed to depend on a nes, on a miracle. But the Chavis Halavavos, according to his opinion, it's still absolutely true and necessary that we completely believe that the results have nothing to do with us. That the efforts that we have put in are incidental. It's for a side reason that we have to put in efforts. But the efforts themselves do not produce the results. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu who's doing it, right? But the Alter himself holds that no, putting in any effort is going to detract from my faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The spiritual subservience that I have to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the surrender that I surrender to Hashem, knowing that He's going to take care of me, that is the spiritual power that I have to get the things that I need. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give it to me when I completely trust in Him. That can be lost whenever I do hishtadlus. V'nimsa, it comes out that when Yosef HaTzadik said, remember me, it was a tremendous sin in his bitachon. Interesting, he uses the word sin, where chet also means missing the mark, right? He was headed in a certain direction with his bitachon, he was on a straight path, and he veered off, he lost it. Now the sin of the first one, the off the mark of the first time, it could be he just said, try to remember me and mention me to Paro. So that's one thing, if he just said it along the way. The second time he said it, and you should remember me, mention me, right? He didn't need to mention it a second time. He should have not mentioned it a second time and show that the first time was just happenstance. That wasn't the real thing. But by mentioning it a second time, he made a new path for himself. There was a decision in the second statement which meant, this is how I'm going to go. I'm going to go with hishtadlus instead of completely trusting in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the proof is that when it came to the first time, he just said, remember me. He didn't tell a whole story. He didn't mention a whole description of events of what had gone on. he went all out with his hishtadlus. He said, I was stolen from the land of the Hebrews, and it was unjust. I was accused unjustly. I ended up here against, it's not fair. He didn't say that the first time, because the first time it was just, in the conversation. The second time, so he had decided already to make the hishtadlus, to make that effort. And he completed his hishtadlus by mentioning the whole sob story, the whole sad story of what had happened. For this reason, he was punished, and he was left in jail for another 2 years. And he says an amazing thing. This is such an important idea, that the punishment was for 2 reasons. The first is that Yosef HaTzadik is going to be the king. He's going to be the leader of the Jewish people, the leader of the Egyptians. A king, a leader, has to have a much higher path. We find that a king needs to have 2 Sifrei Torahs. One of them needs to be always next to him. He has to keep it with him at all times. A king also has to bend more in his prayers. Because he has more of a highness, he is on a higher level, he is above all the other people, he is a leader. Such a person needs a deeper level of humility. That our sages say that once the king has begun his prayers, once he bows the entire time, throughout the entire prayers, as opposed to what we do. We bow during Magen Avram twice. We bow Maidim at the beginning and the end. He would bow the entire time to show his subservience to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, his working on his ego. And once he bows at the beginning, he doesn't get up until he finishes his entire prayer. Whoever is greater has to be more on a deeper level of subservience to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore he has to have a deeper level of bitachon. It's an amazing thing. What is the idea of bitachon according to what he's saying here? He's saying that the idea of bitachon is, I completely recognize that everything that I have is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I completely know that every single thing that I accomplish in the world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If I'm going to get out of this jail, Yosef HaTzadik, if he's going to get out of the jail, it's going to be because Hashem decided that. That's a certain level of humility that's absolutely necessary in order for him to become the king, in order for him to rise to that great level of hishtadlus, of leadership, of being raised above other people. There has to be a very high level of humility. And so that's also true for each and every one of us. To the degree that we have a leadership capacity, whether it's a small leadership around our families, our children, our wives, our spouses, whether it's amongst other people in our community, Klal Yisrael at large, whatever our position, to the degree that we are misnase, we are higher than others in the hierarchy, so we have to have a deeper level of humility. And one of the ways of gaining this humility, as the Alter is saying, is through bitachon. Bitachon says, it's not me. It's not me. It's not me. But Oid, says the Alter another thing. Yosef had a very high level of bitachon previously. Hashem was doing him a favor in a certain sense, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not want him to lose his level of bitachon. He was on a very high and deep level of trust in Hashem. Now he's trusting in this person. Now you're trusting in the Sar HaMashkim. You're going to fall from your level of bitachon. I want you to remain attached to me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was saying to Yosef. If he would have come out there right away and he wouldn't have stayed in jail for another 2 years, he could have thought, he could have made a mistake to think that his efforts had helped him, and then he would. It was that request indeed that allowed him to get out. He would have come to a new understanding of the way to go in the world. He would have thought that you need to put in extra efforts, because look, it worked. That's what I did. That's what affected the result that I was looking for. Okay, so it's very important it was important for a Yosef HaTzadik, in order to remain at his exalted level of connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, subservience to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, surrender to Hashem, bitachon, trust and faith on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he not come out, in order that he maintain that high level. Thanks for listening.